Everyone. I'm freezing right now, but interesting day. A lot of stuff to go over. A lot of stuff to go over. Would love to start off with our gospel today. Get that out the way. Not to be rushing, but I want to get into a lot of charts. So the Thursday, February 5th gospel from Mark. Jesus summoned the 12 and began to send them out 2 by 2 and gave them authority over unclean spirits. He instructed them to take nothing for the journey but a walking stick. No food, no snack, no money in their belts. They were, however, to wear sandals but not a second tunic. He said to them, "Wherever you enter a house, stay there until you leave from there. Where at whatever place does not welcome you or listen to you, leave there and shake the dust off your feet, in testimony against them." So when they went off and preached repentance, the 12 drove out many demons, and they anointed with oil many who were sick and cured them. So this is just Jesus using other people as vessels for his, power, glory, and authority. It shows that even the simple man, you and me, are capable of doing basically casting demons and curing the sick, and that's how it is. More metaphorical way. We in the sense of driving out demons, a lot of people bring other people's demons to light in many cases, and many people don't know that their addictions, their grudges, etc., can be perceived as demons that essentially hurt them and their livelihood. Nice gospel, mainly about how Jesus can give one the power, and he is the giver of life, but more importantly, he can give people authority, control. They went off and preached repentance, not even doing good things necessarily, just repentance, true repentance. All right, let's get into today's market. I am interested to see what we have going on. What the heck? Oh, come on now. Bang, 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 bang. I don't know why nothing's showing up. Meow, meow, meow. Oh, it's a new day. Okay, so that's not going to show up. Let's get into today. So I was bearish down to our new week opening gap that was left unfilled from way back when over here. How much dump? Remember percent we dumped today? Almost 2.7%. Perfect, bro. I love this. I love this dump. These lows are looking good. All this stuff. I wanted to do an option at the beginning of this week, but I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I might as well just trade. If that makes sense. We have an unfilled NWOG. Not NWOG. NWOG. Unfilled NWOG from way back in November. That was my target. Literally going back to this is Thanksgiving. So I'm looking for. I think I got caught up short, trying to short to that new week opening gap at the time. But that's besides the point. So obviously bearish going into the market. Coming into the session, we had this 1 hour fair value gap that I was interested in, seeing how price wants to react off of it. We had no larger time frame. What's it called? No larger. Damn, we really dumped even into the PM session. I had no larger time frame draw on or market structure that would enable me to be bullish this morning whatsoever. So I was just straight bearish, and that's kind of easy going into the session now. So rally higher, take out the sell side, then 9:30 opens up. I was in a top step short pre-market right here at 9:30. Once he swept out the sell side, I went break even, and then it just came back, tapped me out. We rallied higher. I took a small top step win right here, up to the high, bam. So that was a nice trade. I wish I took that on the fundeds. However, I'm glad I didn't, because that was not my daily bias. Then what is this, 5-minute fair value gap? Yeah, a 5-minute fair value gap. So we put in a 5-minute fair value gap. Once we take out that 15-minute high and that was basically our market structure shift on the 15-minute time frame. So I did want to see us build price in here and then eventually move lower. So yeah, we had 10 a.m. news, keep that in mind. We had our market structure shift here. This would have been the ideal short, but there was no fair value gap, so I wanted to wait for a fair value gap. We got one right here, and we just ran. And then 10 a.m. news hit, and then we just started to dump lower into our new week opening gap. So I really missed out on a lot of opportunity. If I knew and I was really confident and I didn't want to wait for a fair value gap, I could have shorted up in here or just anywhere in these up closes and these down closes, which would have been good, but you know, it's whatever. And even after 10 a.m. news, I was like, you know, potentially might want to come up into this 10 a.m. news candle, take the high, and then rally lower, or potentially give a like just a nice entry. And even this fair value gap I wasn't even interested in taking, because then I would have had to put my stop at data high, essentially, like that. And you know, that's a 1-to-1 in all reality, and that's not what I was targeting. So yeah, that was that. And then we get into some on the trade of 8. So this is where I'm like, okay, you know, I like how we took out this new week opening gap. We took our sell side out. I'm interested in seeing what the 11 o'clock macro wants to do. It's been nice majority of the week, and of course, you know, the time I want to trade it's a little bit more fishy. So we get this high, relative equal highs. It did not break the high, so this is not a 2-minute market structure shift. Okay, so this was just, what's going on here? This was just a retracement up into this, I think, 15 or 5-minute fair value gap. So we rally up into there, we get a market structure shift here, we retrace, and I'm like, okay, this is looking good. So I take a short in this candle, we rally lower. I did not go break even. My stop was at this high right here. Well, not the high, but right at there. Got stopped out by a tick. I was like, bro, are you serious right now? I know we want these relative equal lows. So then once price kind of showed rejection, I knew this high was protected, or essentially, you know, a little more, you know, if we took it, we would have shifted our bias back to high, back to these relative equal highs. However, we didn't. So then we started rallying lower. I took a short, and then I just made back that loss plus like $40 I made. So that's really nothing to write home about. Break-even day, all around. And this was one contract. You know, I wasn't even trying to risk heavy in this chop because, you know, it was rough. But this is what the trade looked like, kind of. Maybe I did force it a little bit. Like, that's when I got stopped. And I was targeting like that. So I guess you could say 1-to-1, yes. Why didn't I take this 1-to-1? Because I didn't like this 10 a.m. news candle. Same reasoning. So yeah, I then just made back the loss there. Rallied up higher. And then going into the end of the, not end of the session, but going into, I think it was around 1 o'clock, I was like, you know, I want to see us take out relative equal lows. So on ES, we go over to ES now. If you look right here, swept out this high, bam, broke lower. ES maybe would have been a nicer thing because we have an inverse here, but you know, and then potentially I could have shorted in this fair value gap, hoping run through this low. If I didn't get the entry up here, I didn't want to be in the trade essentially, and I didn't want to be, you know, FOMOing down here and then getting chopped up. So I'm glad I waited for that for sure. And this was relative equal lows. We sweep out this high in this order block. I can just kind of tell it's an order block. You know, all this long accumulation before we rip lower. So we tap into this order block, larger time frame, market structure shift. There's our double fair value gap entry. I took the short right here, added on here, and then added on right here. Targeted our relative equal lows. So the trade looked something like, what was it? Yeah, bows are protected highs. So it looked something like that. Bam. So yeah, I wish I might have took that. Like if I was on my phone, so I really can't be. I don't like to trade on the phone, especially on my phone. So yeah, no, nice little relative equal lows get tapped right there. This relative equal lows getting tapped was a 15-minute market structure shift. So, you know, we're only looking for that market structure shift, but you know, if you're larger time frame, you're expecting, okay, we'll get below these lows. We're gonna want to retrace back higher and then sell off into our lunch liquidity if you're, you know, trading the PM session like that. Well, this is a crazy rally. Bam, bam. There's your short. But whatever. Yeah. So this is what Tops is looking like going into the first week. So honestly, you know, just it's important to not rush. It's really important to not rush these evals is what I'm trying to say. You know, and I like Apex, yes I do, but just Top Step has a place in my heart because of the fact that I like their platform, I like their rules, and I like their consistency stuff. I like all of them. It's not a difficult firm whatsoever to understand what's going on. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Maybe I might just leave this account for next week. But we'll see if I find something tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna trade this account, or maybe even into the Asian session. Today's the first day I can trade Asian session, so I'm definitely gonna take a look at that. But yeah, I kind of want to get more into the markets, get a larger time frame idea here because we've been waiting for this sell-off since November. November 25th. We market structure shifted there. Well, I mean, I guess we market structure shifted. Well, that's ES. If I go to NASDAQ, it's a little bit of a different story. I'm going to cancel all these drawings. Yeah, so that was our market structure shift leg. We're about to reach that low. And yeah, I'm seeing these lows down here potentially come back into this consolidation area. Remember on the yearly time frame, we just opened up a new year. We need to, every candle has a power of 3. Power of 3, manipulation, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So right now I do think we're manipulating to the downside for X amount of time. And then eventually we're going to, accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. So that's why, going into late October and then into basically now, we've been in this consolidation. And along with, NASDAQ's one thing, but if you go to like we're going to gold's been rallying and, boom right there. So, we were just pushing higher high. I think it was inevitable, it was inevitable to see, NASDAQ start to tank. And especially these dollar relative equal lows, like on this larger time frame. For now, I think we could definitely see higher prices on dollar. But I want to get to crypto kind of and see what's going on there. But this is a bloodbath, man. You look at what's going on recently, absolute bloodbath. Like, you go to the monthly time frame, this Solana chart looks like it's a stock. It looks like it's going to zero. And there's really no technical analysis you can do on this stuff. Other than, hoping and praying, And like if you look right here, the high, low, higher high, lower low, you could have been shorting this at 250, 200 area, and then all the way down to what, 79 now. I wish I could. Hindsight's always easier to say this stuff and understand it. Because back in July of last year, back in June, I was in Solana quite a bit, around a 150 average. It was good, or maybe 170 average, ran about 250. I don't remember making much money off of it for sure. I think I went about break even on it. But yeah, I know the portfolio's been in the actual dumpster recently. All the stocks going down, everything's going down, and that's what we kind of planned on, realistically. There's really nothing to be surprised about. But yeah, no, just seeing like XRP just broke that massive wick we had the other time, which is nuts. Like, we're going back to almost 50 cents probably, like realistically. Bitcoin has still a lot of room to go in my opinion. We just retested this fair value gap. That's why it makes sense for us to be really bearish going into this new month, new candle month open. So yeah, the liquidity I'm eyeing is 49K, about 50K NASDAQ, BTC. I never thought I'd be saying this in 2026, a couple years later, but that's just how it is. Yeah, on a more personal, not personal, on a more related level, they stopped letting people trade gold. They stopped letting people trade silver on these prop firms. They're starting to limit people in terms of what they can do. I'm not really taking advantage of that, of like silver and gold, how I maybe should have, or how people do. It's not really my type of thing, but they've been limiting people, and it just goes to show how kind of touchy the prop firm industry is. You don't really know what your money's gonna do, essentially. So that's why it's important to just build slowly and kind of understand, that one day you can wake up and the prop firm is gone. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much all I got. You know what I'm saying? I just, I wish my performance on my Apexes looked more like this, because I would definitely have at least a couple payouts under my belt. I had these Apex accounts in December, and I'm looking to take a payout soon out of them. It's just it's been a slow grind for sure. Definitely missing today. It's just like, you know, the price action going into December and January wasn't the best, and now February's starting to clear up. And it's just making sure, you know, take advantage of every opportunity basically available. I'm kind of maybe regretting not taking shorts today. Like, even if I want to be more risky, you know, I don't need, like, I have a daily bias. I know my daily bias. Like, this is clearly a market maker sell model. You know, I don't need to wait for a fair value gap, if that makes sense, you know. But, you know, time will tell. You know, time will tell. Time prevails in everything, realistically, you know. And yeah, you know, we just opened up. Yeah. Not even that bad of a new day opening gap. But, you know, we'll see. Tomorrow's Friday, and, you know, probably going to have a little TGIF. Because on, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've just been dumping since, well, actually, we rallied on Monday. But that was such a fake sweep. Imagine rally, and then we just dump through that range, relatively big lows, sweep them, rally higher into a fair value gap, then consolidate for a little bit overnight, dump lower, fat fair value gap, dump lower, take out the low. I could definitely see us, like, you know, either this is the really strong draw, and we'll hit it by tonight or by tomorrow morning, or we want to see a TGIF and, you know, head up higher. But, you know, these markets have been going through some crazy stuff recently, and that's exactly what we would kind of expect, you know, going into this February, I guess, you know. So yeah, like, wow, what a gap on gold. Holy moly. Why is it like that? I'm so confused. I don't know why it's like that. We had a bullish new day opening gap, and we're over here on the daily looking like some crazy stuff's going on. I don't know. But yeah, that's all I got. Interesting times ahead. You know, what's it called? I don't even know. I don't know. You know, I don't know. But no, I'm gonna take today to chill out for a little bit. Finally, one of my days off per se. Get whatever I need to do done. You feel me? Chill out for a little bit. And yeah, you know, just get to it. That's pretty much all I got. You know, and I will see y'all eventually. Peace out.